For lesson 6-6, we're going to be talking about reflections, graph reflections on a coordinate plane. A reflection, we've talked about this a lot throughout math, growing up back in elementary school and everything else. We talk about a line of symmetry. So here is your line of symmetry. If you had, like, let's say the letter P, and we're going to reflect it over the line of symmetry. Obviously it's going to be reflected. It's going to look something like that. Each item obviously is a certain distance from this line of reflection. So, and that distance should be the same. Like, let's say this is 3 units. It would be exactly 3 units away on that side as well. So the line of reflection, that would be like your line of symmetry. A lot of times we say that something is reflected over, like the y-axis, or it's over the x-axis. A transformation, that's what we call a reflection after we change it from an original shape. So let's say, for example, we're going to reflect this triangle, and let's say the triangle is EFG. And if we're going to reflect this triangle over the y-axis, okay, then it's going to look something like this. And this would be point E prime, this would be G prime, and this would be F prime. Okay, obviously this side gets flipped the furthest because it is the furthest from the y-axis. Notice I know which one the transformation is because it has this prime symbol. Okay, so that's just merely like an exponent to the first power. That's how it looks. So I know that the blue one is the new image because it has that symbol next to it. Okay, so going on to the next example here. It says copy trapezoid STUV below on graph paper, then draw the image of the figure after reflection over the given line. So we're going to reflect this over this line that we're given. So S is 1 space away, so I'm going to go 1 space away, and that'll be S prime. Okay, and T looks like it's in between this here, and it's 1, 2, 3 spaces. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 spaces away. So notice I'm not counting from S to T, I'm counting from T to this line. That's the important part. This would be T prime. And V is just 1 space away, so I'll go ahead and mark that. It's pretty easy. And then U is 1, 2, 3 spaces, so 1, 2, 3 spaces away. That'll be U prime. And then we just got to connect our dots. So we're going to connect these two here, and then we'll draw it down here, and we'll go across right there. So I know that this is a reflected image because I have all the prime symbols. So this would be S prime, T prime, U prime, V prime. All right, so which of these 4 would be the correct reflected image over the line? Let's see if I make these just a little bit bigger here for us. First of all, I'm going to say that this one cannot be it because I notice I have 2 spaces in between the line of symmetry and my shape. And this one is right on the line. So that does not, that will not work. Now, when I look here, I'm going to call this one as it cannot work because R and A are the furthest points away. And now in this one, R and A are close to the line of symmetry. So I'm down to these 2 choices. If I were to call this choice C and this choice D, which one would be correct? Well, now I got to actually count some points. So T is 2 points away. All right, this is 2 points, and this is 2 points. All right, P is also 2 points away. So same thing here. All right, now to get to R, I would from the line, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points away. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points away. So all that looks the same. I just need to figure out here which one is true. So I noticed that T and R are only 1 point away, and here T and R are actually 2 points away. And this one, T and R are 1 point away. So that means C has to be my choice. So it looks like this one, they actually kind of flipped it around and kind of twisted it a little bit to make this shape. So C is my correct choice. Says graph EFGH with those vertices, then graph the image EFGH after reflection over the x-axis. So we're going to flip it over the x-axis. This right here is the x. So we're going to flip it down over here. And then write the coordinates of its vertices. So we're going to have E prime, so I'm just kind of getting it ready here. I'm going to have F prime. All right, I'll have G prime and then H prime. So I'm just kind of getting my ordered pair ready so that way I don't forget to write it later. Okay, so H is 1 point away. So I'm just going to go right here and I'm going to write H prime. E is 1, 2, 3, 4 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be point E. Go ahead and label that E prime. G is 2 points away. So we're going to make that G prime, and F is 3 points away, 1, 2, 3, and there's our F prime. So now we just need to connect everything. Connect these two, that one. Hopefully you guys can do a little bit better with your lines here. Let's see, we need to make that a little bit better. I could use an actual line tool here, and that'll be much better. If I just do this. With your iPads, you might be able to actually find a line making tool so you can make it look a little bit nicer as well. So these are my new points here. So now I still have to write my points up here. So E prime is going to be negative 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 4 here, and then we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 4, negative 4. That's in quadrant 3. So I know it should have been negative, negative. H is also negative, negative. We'll go negative 2, negative 1. So I'll write that in. G goes 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2. So we'll go 4, negative 2, and then H. Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. F. So 1, 2, 3, and down 1, 2, 3. So 3, negative 3. Now there's something I want us to take a look at here. If we look at E, okay, E goes from negative 4 to negative 4. And it goes from positive 4 to negative 4. So the only thing that changed was the 4, the Y value changes, and it goes from 4 to negative 4. Okay, let's look at F. X value is 3 and 3, but that Y value goes from 3 to negative 3. Again, the only thing that changes is the Y value, and it's opposite. G goes from 4 to 4, so that didn't change, and 2 to negative 2. So again, our Y values are opposite. H goes from negative 2 to negative 2, and it goes from positive 1 to negative 1. So again, the Y values are opposite. That's something I want us to keep track of. Okay, so if you could actually find a new page, and we're going to write when, oops, I'm sorry. We're going to write when reflecting over the x-axis, x stays the same and y is opposite. So if we took 4, negative 2, and we flipped over the x, we would get 2, okay? X stays the same, Y is opposite, okay? And you can write that here. We can go X, oops, let's see, X is the same. We can go Y is opposite. So make sure that's in your notes somewhere. All right, so we're going to go ahead and skip over this one because it's kind of already done for us. I want to make sure we get to one with a y-axis. So here, let's go ahead and graph this one and reflect it over the y-axis, okay, because that's what it tells us to do here. So we're going to do, here is A prime, and B prime is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be B prime. And D is just 1 away, so that's D prime, and C is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That would be our C prime. All right, so now I'm going to use my line tool, so this looks a little bit better, and much better. Here with the line tool, and get that made. All right, that looks a lot better. So now we're going to label our points because it says write the coordinates of the vertices. So A prime is -1, 3. Okay, let's take a look at what they were before. Okay, A was 1, 3. Now it's -1, 3. So now we're flipping over the y-axis, and it looks like X is opposite and Y stays the same. That's interesting. Let's see if that continues. So B prime is now -1, 2, 3, 4, 0, -4, 0, and let's look at what it was before. It was 4, 0, now it's -4, 0. So again, X is opposite this time, and Y stays the same. C prime is -1, 2, 3, down 1, 2, 3, 4, so -3, -4. Let's look at what it was before. It was 3, -4. Now it's -3, -4. So Y stays the same when flipping over the y-axis. All right, and then D prime, we go -1, -2. And let's look at what it was before. It was 1, -2. The -2 for the y coordinate is the same. -1 is opposite. So we need to go and add a little note here somewhere in your notes, so we can keep track of that, okay? So when flipping or reflecting over the y-axis, okay, so before we wrote when flipping over the x-axis, okay, when flipping over the x-axis, X stays the same, okay? When flipping over the y-axis, Y stays the same, and X is opposite. So, for example, we'll go -3, -7, and then we'll flip over the y-axis, and we get, let's see, okay, Y stays the same, and X is opposite, so we're going to get 3, -7, okay? Y stays the same, X is opposite, so let's write that, okay? Y is the same, and we'll write X is opposite. All right, so there's kind of a cheat sheet or a note that we need to keep in mind when working with flipping over the x-axis and flipping over the y-axis. Be sure you have these extra notes from this page and this page. I'll be checking for those in your notes. All right, we'll skip over that example. When you see a problem like this, for architecture, it says copy this, flip it over the line of symmetry. Obviously, you just take your time and go 1, 2, 3, 4. We just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we fill that in. This line goes all the way across. We're going to bring this all the way back down. I see this goes up 2, and then it goes all the way over. Okay, so I just pick out points here. This is kind of an oval right in there. I know that's a little bit off, but that's okay. And then this is going to kind of close that out. Then I see there's a little box up here, so I'm just going to kind of put that in. Okay, and then this line goes all the way down, so we'll do that, and then there's a line going across at each one of these intersections. Okay, so again, we just reflected this over the line of symmetry. It's just taking very, very careful attention and keeping everything lined up and flipping it directly across. Okay, now this is kind of another example. If you wanted to take time and actually do this, you could, but we're going to go ahead and end there with all of our examples.